going to do a review on the Nextbase 101 in car cam. It has a lot of problems. It's not the first one I've had actually sent to me. They overheat very quickly if you're on the front screen, but in the rear screen they are a perfect camera. But I'll show you exactly what's going on. The other camera that I'm setting up is the A118C capacitor, which will be in the front of the car. For the Nextbase, I know from experience they drop off the screen in high temperatures, or when it's raining and it's cold, and when you've got your heaters blowing, the battery, it does not like hot air at all. It continually cuts out, and sometimes they don't even come back on after that. Plus, batteries aren't that safe to have in a dash cam. You're better off with a capacitor. But as a rear view camera, it is perfect. The outside, you see, in fact, it is unnoticeable from the rear. And I would say that for most car rear screens, you wouldn't notice this camera at all. But on the front, it sticks out like a sore thumb. You know, sticking from the rubber sucker stuck to the screen. It's a little thief's nightmare when they get to see one of these. It's, oh, we'll crack the screen and take the camera. And they're out, they leave the cameras, they forget about it. It does take snapshots, but as a rear view camera, this is the best setup there is. And the one good point with this, which I have always liked about Nextbase, is the 4-meter cable I give you with the 12 to 24 volt plug is actually fitted. It's very stylish, it's very compact, there's no messing about. Whereas this one has a wired plug. I suppose you could cut it if you wanted to and fit a little permanent 12 volt kit. But when they are sent out, for some unknown reason, the batteries are never charged, which I find peculiar, because for one, it destroys the battery that's in it. It doesn't make sense to me why they put a battery in at all. Go to a capacitor. But people want batteries in them, so if they do have an accident, they turn their engine off, they've still got something recorded. Yes, you can unclip the Nextbase and take snapshots of the damage to the vehicle, but as a front screen dash camera, no, they're not worth buying. If you want to fit one as a rear screen, which I'll tell you something, you'd be amazed what you see from the rear and how many bumps you get from the rear, where people accuse you of braking without any warning. These are perfect for the rear screens. Because as soon as I turn the ignition on, they'll power up in any case. It's very unnoticeable. You've got to go a long way to be able to see this particular camera in the rear of a screen, but whereas it's in the front screen, it's as noticeable as they come. That's the camera. As you can see, it's still got a sticker and everything on. As you can also see, pressing the button, the battery is as flat as a pancake. We'll have a look in the next part of the box, see what's in there. Actual facts here. I'll do it there where I'm sitting, because otherwise I'll get everything mixed up. There's your little suction cup. They're not the best of fittings. It is the tiniest of suction cups. It's about 1.5 inches tops, but it's a plastic slide-on fitting that goes in that end of the camera, and they break very, very easily. The one thing I do like about them is you get this plug with 4 meters of cable, fully fitted, no shape, one that you can actually plug into your cigar lighter like that. I mean, this is well made, and this is how the AC118 is also sold. It's supposed to come with a barrel shaped power fitting that way, but it doesn't come with, it comes with, you also get a sticker, but I don't know what you want to stick a sticker on your screen for, telling people, you know, you've got a camera in your car. Comes with I don't know, CD-ROM. I think it's the instruction CD-ROM. You've got your little mini USB, which is standard. I think that's about it in this box. Yeah, as you can see, there's just the CD-ROM. Take it up because there is an AV on this one, if I remember rightly. But I'll list everything. I'll actually write it all down and list it, what it actually does. It'll take up to a 32 gig card. What the functions are. It actually tells you on the box as well. So, as you can see, everything's wrote on the box as well, what it contains. In-car cam, the mount, the suction cup, the 4-meter cable, the USB cable, a quick start guide. Oh, it is. Yeah, it was the instruction manual. I thought it was that the little CD. You know, they go for what? Anything from £39 upwards, from Curry's, HAlfords. You can pick them up at that. But that's the review on it. My actual review is to tell you this is no good for the front screen of any car. Maybe if you sit with your windows open all day long, heat from the car gets to these. They have a tendency to overheat within 2 months, and that's their lifespan. But on the rear of the car, which is where I've got the one at the moment, the exact same one, the 101, it's been sitting in the rear of the car 15 months, and she's had no problems whatsoever with it. But as soon as you put them in the front, and they get a lot of heat from the heat screens and the blowers, they are a nightmare. They stop, start, they get over hot, and then they pack in altogether. You can have this up and running within what, 10 minutes. You can hide the cable within 5 minutes round the top of the windscreen, run it down the side to your cigarette lighter, auxiliary lighter. But the one thing is they mount on the screens and they're so viewable from the outside. Thieves like them, and they don't hide very well on the front of the screen. They stick out like a sore thumb. Whereas that AC118 does not, and the new 119, they're also very discreet. You can make them look as though they're part of the actual front screen by using the extended cable which covers the cables in. You've only got to drop it down about 2 inches. You know, this is a bit of a mixed review now, isn't it? We've gone into 2 cameras from one. But that's the basics with this one, that's the basic problems. Suction cups too small, fitting breaks very easily, and they do break very easily. If you try to keep on unclipping these, which you have to slot them in and pull them across, a little bit of plastic drops off because they're very, very weak. In fact, where it's got the same sort of fitting but it's broke. My opinion is very good camera for a rear view camera, but not for the front screen. If you want 2 cameras, buy a capacitor one for your front screen. Yes, they work beautifully for the rear screen with no problems, no overheating, no dropping off the screen. In the damp and the rainy and cold weather, they don't suffer at all when they're in the back of the screen, but on the front of the car they suffer terribly. So in the rear of a car, these are perfect. And if you do want to put one back and front, I would go for a mixer like this. These are cheap, they work well, they've got good warranty if they do break down within the 12-month period. So they are a good buy for that thing if you use them in the rear. I've got them front and rear because most accidents are from the rear or they're from the side. Also, you can actually take that camera out and unhook it off and take pictures with it if you haven't got a phone with you, which you couldn't do with the ACC18 being its capacitor, but this just takes still photos, so it has got that ability to do that as well. At the moment I'm just testing where I am. I'm using a 12-volt battery pack to test everything. This one, I've just, as you can see, I've just got it out of the box, so I haven't tried this one out at all. So I don't even know if this one works, because yet again the battery is dead in this one. When it comes with the battery, it's supposed to be partly charged. Yet again, that battery's flat. But this, for the cost, is a good buy for a rear view camera, but do not buy it if you want a front viewing camera only, because the heat will affect the battery. The heat, when it gets to summer again and the cold, it will affect it. It does not like the heat from the car at all. And there's very, very few vent holes on this for it to cool down. In fact, they're so small you can hardly see any vent holes on it. They're minute in actual fact. So I'm amazed they last as long as they do in the front of anybody's car. You know, I'm giving you an honest review. This is how I look at things. Maybe not how other people look at things, but this is how I review things. The sucker brakes, the little piece of plastic brakes off, because that happened to the other one. They sent me out a new one, but that happens because every time you unslot it, it's wear and tear on this top of this, and a little bit of plastic breaks off in there. I hope what I've told you actually makes sense.